Before billionaires ruled the modern world, there was Rockefeller. In an age of smoke and steel, when fire lit the skies and railroads carved through cities, a quiet accountant saw order in the chaos. He turned oil into a system, precision, ledgers, leverage. Prices bent, markets bowed, rivals broke, wealth piled high. New words followed him: power, control, monopoly. He would cast a shadow over a century. His name was John D. Rockefeller, and this is how empires are made. John Davison Rockefeller entered the world in 1839. In a small town in upstate New York, a place far removed from the centers of power he would one day command. His childhood was not one of privilege, it was one of discipline and thrift. His father, a traveling salesman and a man of shifting fortunes, was often absent, leaving the running of the household to his devoutly religious mother. She instilled in young John a powerful sense of duty order, a deep-seated belief that to waste was a sin. Every penny was to be accounted for, every action to have a purpose. This strict upbringing shaped the boy's character in profound ways. While other children played, John was drawn to the world of numbers and commerce. At a young age, he began his first ledger, a small, simple book where he meticulously recorded every cent he earned raising turkeys, doing chores for neighbors. In the middle of the 19th century, something extraordinary happened in the hills of Pennsylvania. This discovery unleashed a frenzy, a mad rush, part gold fever, part industrial revolution. The business of oil was pure chaos. Thousands of fortune seekers descended on the region. They threw up rickety derricks. They drilled wells with wild abandon. Some struck it rich overnight. Many more lost everything. The industry was a frantic, disorganized scramble. Countless small producers and refiners competed fiercely. Prices could soar one day and collapse the next. Into this maelstrom stepped John D. Rockefeller. He was in Cleveland, a city becoming an oil hub. He did not join the speculators in the fields. He watched the chaos from a distance. Where others saw a lottery, he saw a lack of structure. With his refineries running like clockwork, producing kerosene at a cost his rivals could not match, Rockefeller began his great campaign of consolidation. He did not simply want to compete, he wanted to dominate. He approached his competitors in Cleveland, one by one, with a stark and powerful proposition. He would open his books and show them his efficient operation, his low costs, his healthy profits. Then he offered to buy them out, cash or, more enticingly, stock in his rapidly growing company, Standard Oil. The offer was both a promise and a threat. Join and share in the profits of a larger, more stable enterprise. Refuse and face a company that could undercut your prices and drive you into bankruptcy. Many saw the logic and sold. Those who resisted soon felt the immense pressure. In months, the Cleveland massacre, Rockefeller absorbed nearly all local competitors, consolidating the city's refining capacity under his control. His next masterstroke involved the railroads. Transport costs were as crucial as refining costs. He guaranteed massive, consistent volumes of oil shipments and demanded secret discounts, rebates. As Standard Oil grew, its power became absolute. By the 1880s, the company controlled an estimated 90% of the oil refined in the United States. It was more than a successful business. It was a force of nature, a new kind of entity for which the nation had no name. People began to use a word that carried with it a sense of fear and resentment: monopoly. Standard Oil was the first great monopoly of the modern industrial age, a single corporate entity that held an entire essential industry in its iron grip. It could dictate terms, set prices, and crush any who dared to stand in its way. This immense power brought a kind of order to the once chaotic oil business, just as Rockefeller had envisioned. Prices for kerosene became stable and, for a time, fell, making light more affordable for the average American family. The company's vast and efficient network ensured a reliable supply of fuel that powered the nation's factories and lubricated its machines. But this order came at a tremendous cost. Small producers and independent refiners, who had been the backbone of the early industry, were systematically eliminated. A new kind of journalist emerged. The most formidable of these was a woman named Ida Tarbell. She launched a meticulous, multi-year investigation, laying bare secret railroad rebates, predatory pricing schemes, and ruthless tactics. Her work ignited a firestorm of public outrage. Politicians moved, and the battle shifted to the courts. While the legal battles raged, John D. Rockefeller became something the world had never seen before: its first billionaire. The sheer scale of his wealth was difficult for most people to comprehend. At its peak, his fortune equaled a significant percentage of the entire US economy. He owned sprawling estates with manicured gardens. He owned private railroad cars. He owned mansions that stood as monuments to his success. His influence was global. Decisions in Standard Oil's Broadway offices in NYC could affect the price of a lamp in a humble home across the world. He was the living embodiment of modern capitalism, a system he helped shape. This immense wealth created a strange, isolated life. He was both one of the most powerful and one of the most reviled men in America. He moved in elite circles. He was hounded by journalists. Enormous riches did not bring him peace. In 1911, the US Supreme Court ruled Standard Oil an illegal monopoly and ordered it broken into dozens of companies. In later years, Rockefeller began a second career: philanthropy. Guided by advisors, he gave his fortune away with systematic precision. He established foundations that transformed medicine. He established foundations that transformed education. He established foundations that transformed public health. He funded the creation of universities. He funded pioneering medical research that would save countless lives. This massive generosity complicates his legacy. Was it an attempt to cleanse a tainted reputation, or a genuine expression of his belief in purposeful, efficient action for humanity? He saw himself as an agent of progress, not a predator. But progress has a price. As we look back, the story of John D. Rockefeller is one of profound and lasting contradiction. Was he a visionary genius who revolutionized industry and laid the groundwork for the modern world? Or was he a ruthless architect of corporate domination, a man who perfected a model of business that prioritized profit above all else? The truth, as it so often is not simple. He was both. Progress and predation can be two sides of the same coin. The drive that builds empires can also be the one that crushes individuals. The breakup of Standard Oil did not destroy the Rockefeller fortune. In fact, his shares in the new, smaller companies made him even wealthier. But the court's decision sent a powerful message. In America, no single entity would be allowed to grow so powerful that it stood above the law. The debates we have today about big tech, about global finance, about the influence of corporate money in politics are echoes of the battle fought over a century ago. His greatest legacy may be the blueprint he created. He demonstrated how control over supply, transport, and information could be leveraged to achieve near-total market dominance. The blueprint for modern corporate power didn't begin in Silicon Valley. It began with oil. With heavy typographic headline,